Hey, this is Pete at Graphics, and this is another cloud cover video, this time about our new feature called Final Template. Now, a Final Template is an optional companion template to the default template, and it is used just to do the final rendering, the rendering that happens in PhotoGIS Lab and or in Raster Plus. The default template continues to be used in PhotoCentral or in the kiosk. It's what the consumer sees, but the companion template, the final template, is used in the final render. And we have this final template, this concept, in order that you can create a preview template, which is now the default template, and on that preview template you can put guides or instructions. So it allows you to put stuff in that you don't want to be in the final render, but that you want the consumer to see. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to take an IPI template for a 12 by 12 canvas wrap, and we are going to manipulate it so that we have now two templates, a default and a final template. And we're also going to do some other fun stuff that will to convert this thing into a usable PhotoGIS template, so we can show you some of the pitfalls and things. So let's take a look at this template. Looks pretty good. This is a canvas wrap. It's a 12 by 12 canvas wrap. So this entire thing, if we look at the image size, it is 15.5 inches square, and then the usable part, the actual 12 inch by 12 inch part, is sort of this thing right in the middle. So these guides sort of indicate 12 by 12, and then the full on thing is 15.5 inches. So this is all usable area in here, but this is not. So one of the things we're going to do when we design this final template is when we design the default template is we're going to put in guides that show the consumer where the stuff that's not imageable. So let's start working with this template. First thing I see is it doesn't have an alpha channel, so we're going to add one. I click down here to make a new alpha channel, and then just bring it back by hiding it so we can work with it. And the other thing we see is, firstly, this is telling you we don't have this font. Secondly, it's two lines of text with different sizes. We want to break that up. So let's double click on this T. It tells you it's Century Gothic. So that's not a font that you can use on the kiosk or in PhotoCentral. We're just going to change that to Arial. So let me click OK. It's going to highlight this. I'm going to change it to Arial. And there's no size here because we're actually highlighting two different lines of text that have different sizes. So let's just highlight this here and see what size. Okay, that's 35 points. And we're going to highlight this down here. And that's 22 points. So what I'm going to do is I am going to let's find out what color it is. It's white. So let's just start off by converting this into our format. So I'm going to say it's Arial. It's 35 points, it's centered, and it's white. So now I have the spec correct. And then I'm going to actually duplicate this layer. And when I duplicate it, I'm going to make it 22 points because that's the other one. All right, so now we have two pieces of text, one's 35, one's 22. So let's just hide this for a second. Look at this. That's this one here. So I'm going to edit this by deleting that bottom piece and making this piece actually bigger, because the size of the text here defines the extent of the text which the consumer is allowed to put in. So you want to make this nice and big, so we're doing that. So that looks good. Let's hide that and show this. In this case, what we want to do is delete this one, but we want to move this one down a little bit. So let's just do this. And then let's get the text edited so we can make it nice and big. And that looks good. Now let's show them both. Perfect. All right. So now we have two valid text boxes for PhotoCentral and for Kiosk. And we have now we have our art, and we have our sample photo. Now here's another problem that you'll run into sometimes with designs, and that is if we uncheck the art visibility, see that photo? That's a problem because that is the size of the photo, the extent of the photo is actually the extent to which a consumer is going to drop in a photo. So they're going to have a photo which they expect to see the edge to edge, and it's actually going to show like that. That's a problem. So what you really want is the photo chopped down to just a little bit bigger than this hole. So what I like to do is actually I just delete this sample photo. So let's just delete it, and I put my own in. But instead of putting a photo in, I just put in a box. So I have red. That's fine. I'm going to choose a rectangle here, and I'm just going to draw just a little bit bigger than the hole a box. And that's going to be my new sample photo. Here it is here. That's going to be down here, and it has to be rasterized, and it has to be called sample photo. There we go. Now I make just a box instead of a actual photo because it's a lot smaller. So it uploads smaller, and it downloads to the kiosk smaller in Cloud Cover and so forth. So this template is looking good right now, and in fact, we're gonna call this the final render. So I'm gonna save this instead of just as the original file name. I'm gonna add a underscore, and you can call this anything you want, but I like to call it underscore final. All right, so that's our final render. This is what we're gonna print to the Minilab, or however we're gonna fulfill this. Now, the thing that we want consumers to see, we want them to know sort of that this is off limits, this area here. So I'm going to do that by kind of making it gray. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, let's snap to our guides, these blue guides. Let's change our default color to something like, let's say 200, 200, 200. That looks good. I'm going to get my selector out here, my rectangular selector. I'm going to select these guides, and I'm going to say select inverse. And then I'm going to pour in some color. Oops, made a mistake there. I put it in a sample photo. We don't want that. So let's undo, Control Z. I want to put it in my artwork. Now, I could put it in my artwork like this, or I could make it in a completely separate layer and give it a transparency. And I might want to do that if this had some design in it, this area had some design, I might want to just sort of shade it out. So you can do that by creating another layer and then merging that layer into the art layer. But for the purposes of this, just having one single layer with everything in it with no transparency is fine because there's nothing really behind here other than white. I'm going to deselect it, and that's it. So now let's save it. Like so, and so now we have two files. Okay, now let's go to Photogize Retailer Central, and I used Fireworks actually earlier to create the selling images, and I used it with selling images. This is another 12 by 12 canvas wrap. See how it wraps around here. This is going to be our Photo Central selling image, and that is going to be our kiosk selling image. Now, this is different than this template because we're going to have a bunch of templates associated with this one 12 by 12 product. I just happen to pick this as the selling image. So let's go to Retailer Central Products under Cloud Cover and say Add New. This is a 12 by 12 canvas wrap, and I'm going to make that the description as well. We're going to put it in the collage section. It's actually 15.5 inches in size. And then I'm going to choose my selling image, which is, I believe it is this one. And I'm going to choose my kiosk selling image, which has a kiosk here, and that's that one. Any of these will do. It's one page. It's just simplex, not duplex. And I'll save that. And then go back. So here's my new canvas wrap, and now I need to add some templates. So I am going to add a new template here and choose my file. Now let's look at this. So we have this is the preview image, my preview template, and give it a sorter of 0. It's our first template. And I'm going to choose this final template. That's the final render. So this is the new optional template. You don't have to have it. If you just have a template file name, that's going to be used for both the final and the preview render. But if you put in a final template, it will be used for the final render, and this will be used in the kiosk and in Photo Central. Let's save that. And once that's saved, the product is ready, although I can add more template pairs so that I can have a bunch of different types of templates for my 12 by 12 canvas wrap. But once I've done that, then I am now done. So as I said, I can add more, but this product is ready to go. And this is our new final template render.